and good evening to you. I'm Jamie Cope with the WVU Industrial Extension, and we're here today to talk about market expansion for a regional forum. So happy to have all of you with us. Just a few housekeeping things before we get started. This will be recorded, so just by signing up, you're going to get a recording, and feel free to share that with anybody. Also, we've got a lot of folks that are going to speak, so we're going to get moving here pretty quickly. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll try to get to those. And we will also be sending out any of the links or things that are mentioned in the presentation in a follow-up email. So don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. So again, we're just going to dive right in because we got a lot to do. So and can we get some folks to mute here? Can we do that, Dave? So we'll go ahead and get started. We're really honored to have General Jim Hoyer with us, who is the VP for Economic Innovation at WVU, to tell us a little bit about the supply chain and how that works. So General Hoyer, I'm just going to let you take off with it. Thank you for being here.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you. One of the things that I took on when I retired out of uniform was an opportunity to work with President Gee and the team at WVU and others across the state to address some of our most important national security challenges going forward. Not only did I spend just short of 40 years in uniform, but my wife and I are parents of two young men that still serve in the national security space. So this is really important to us from a family perspective. My wife says all the time, one of the things I got to do now that I've retired is to give my own opinion. And she says, unfortunately, I give an opinion about every 15 minutes now. But part of what I'm going to do today is just to give you guys my opinion and some perspective on where I think we are nationally and why it's so important that we create the opportunities with these forums and that we work to rebuild our U.S.-based and allied-based supply chain around the United States and around the globe. So we are now in what many of us in the national security space refer to as the next great power competition. This is much different than what I grew up with and what many of us know as the Cold War. And it was bipolar. It was us and the Soviets. That has changed dramatically in a couple of ways, in my opinion. Number one, I think that China, who is our primary competitor in this great power competition, they have a designed and specific plan. You might hear people refer to as the China Dream, and that is to be the primary most powerful military and primary most powerful nation in the world by 2049. In addition to that, we still have what's left of the Soviet apparatus, now Russia, and we have Iran, North Korea, and other challenges with violent extremism. But in Russia, Iran, and North Korea, we have very dictatorial and unstable leadership. It is becoming even more and more incumbent upon us every day to accelerate the United States capability to maintain its global leadership, both economically and militarily. And that requires us to rebuild a lot of capability, manufacturing and supply chain and otherwise, technology, innovation, research and development that we let leave our shores over the last 50 years. So this is a very important opportunity for us to maintain that leadership role, that stability around the globe. And if we do this right and we quickly rebuild this capability, then hopefully what it becomes is a deterrent to potential large-scale kinetic conflict that could occur otherwise. So this is exceptionally important to our national security. It's exceptionally important to military families and others who support that national mission, that national security mission, that we provide those men and women who do those missions with the capability to do it effectively, and where as much as possible go home safe to their families. This takes a network and a series of partnerships, and part of this forum is to help build those partnerships and that network. And it also is a great opportunity, I believe, for West Virginia, in that it creates an opportunity for us to think outside the box and transition some industry capability into the broader national security space. For example, energy industry capability, manufacturing, machining, other things that have historically only focused on serving those particular industries, to expand that capability if we think outside the box and leverage that capability, but also to continue to grow the ever expanding national security and defense capabilities that are growing in the state of West Virginia. So I appreciate everybody's effort to be on this forum, the work that you guys do regularly to support the state of West Virginia, our nation, going forward. And if anyone has a question or a comment for me, if you'll please leave it, and Jamie will collect it, and I'll get back to you guys if you'll leave me an email address. But again, appreciate all the work that everybody's doing. Thank you for the efforts, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sure people will have plenty of questions for you too. So we'll make sure you get those. And again, thanks for all that you do. All right. So we're going to keep things moving. I know we're between everybody and dinner right now. So I want to make sure that we get things rolling here. But next we have Mary Hedrick, who's a procurement counselor with RCAC, which is also now known as the Apex Accelerator. So Mary, if you want to tell us a little bit about the things that you do there at RCAC and how that might help people expand their opportunities, that would be great.
Awesome. Let me just share my screen real fast. Can you all see my screen?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, great. So as Jamie said, my name is Mary Hedrick, and I am a procurement counselor with RCAC Apex. We were previously known as a PTAC, or a Procurement Technical Assistance Center, for the state of West Virginia. So each state throughout the country has its own Apex accelerators. So we assist small businesses throughout the state of West Virginia. If you are not in West Virginia and you're looking to contact your Apex Accelerator, we're happy to help you to get in contact with them. So we have 4 offices throughout the state of West Virginia. I am in Athens. I'm located at Concord University. We have our main office in Charleston, where our program manager and 2 procurement counselors are. And we also have procurement counselors in Fairmont and Martinsburg. So a little bit about what we do. So my job is to assist clients who are interested in federal, state, and local government contracting. We assist with understanding the federal acquisition regulations and reporting guidelines. We also teach you how to look for opportunities and to determine if that's a good fit for you. Say, do you have the manpower to handle this solicitation? Can you get it done in a specific time frame? And do you have the certifications that are required? So we offer one-on-one counseling to our businesses, and everything that we do is confidential. So a lot of businesses who are entering the government marketplace are unsure of the registration requirements. So we can walk you through the process and help as much or as little as you need. So we want to make sure that all businesses who are entering primarily the federal marketplace are aware of small business certifications. So these include the Women-Owned Small Business, Veteran-Owned Small Business, Service Disabled Veteran, Hub Zone, and 8A programs. So these socioeconomic groups are provided with preference for certain contracts. So the SBA now handles all of the certifications for these, and we are able to help you to get your things together, to understand what all you need to be able to apply for these certifications. RCAC, we also offer monthly webinars. So we like to help our clients and others in the business world to understand the process from start to finish on the government marketplace. We also partner with other agencies throughout the state on in-person trainings as well as webinars. We work with the SBA, the SBDC, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Hive. Those are just a few examples of some of our networking partners. We also provide our clients with a bid match service. If you've ever done marketing, government contracting, then you're aware of how expensive this can be. This is the only thing that we offer to our clients that is a fee. It's a $10 a month or $120 a year. We utilize keywords, NAICS codes, and service area to make sure that they're getting the right bids for their business. Now, these would come in an email daily, and it takes a lot of the legwork out of the process. So that's just a little bit about what we do. So in order to get into federal contracting, you must be registered in the System for Award Management, or SAM. So the federal government is required to post anything that exceeds a threshold of $25,000 on the SAM website. Now, you're also going to find other opportunities that may be of less value. So we assist our clients with the registration process. So again, we can hold your hand through the whole process, or we can just help you if you encounter a problem. So SAM has made some changes in the last year that have made things a little bit laggier, or if that's even a word, a little bit slower in getting the registration done. But we've experienced all these hiccups, and we can talk you through how to navigate that system. So if you are interested in doing a SAM.gov registration, the first thing that you have to do is get a login.gov account. This is basically your login and password for the federal systems. And then once you have that, you would be able to begin the process of registering with SAM. Now, I find a lot of people, and they say, oh, well, I'll do it next month, or we'll do that later. And then they find an opportunity, they really want to bid on this, or say the Air Force calls them and says, we want to buy this, but they don't have a SAM. So it's not a super quick process due to the delays. So we say, even if you're not ready yet, it's best to go ahead and get this SAM registration so you have it in your back pocket. So when you're looking on SAM, it can be a little bit daunting. If you're going to be looking at contract opportunities, that's where you're going to find everything that the government is buying. That's everything they've put out for bid. So if you just go on there and you say, I'm just going to look through these, it can be very overwhelming because it's everything under the sun. So you could see stuff from mowing the grass to eggs to weapons, different things. It's so you want to be able to learn how to weed that down a little bit. So you always want to search using keywords. Say if you want to just do work in West Virginia, I do a search every single day on SAM of just West Virginia, because in Southern West Virginia, I have a lot of people who don't want to travel above the midpoint of the state. So they want to keep that to Southern West Virginia. So you kind of look in that place of performance. You can also use NAICS codes And you can also find contract awards. We also use this to do a little bit of market research for our clients. This is something that we offer to them. So most contracts, say if it's a service contract, it's going to be a 1 year with 4 option years. I can never tell somebody what bid to say, but I can tell them what somebody else did. Everything that is a federal contract is all public information. So you can find every award and how much that person was paid. So we utilize that tool in USA Spending and SAM to be able to gather that information, to give you a better idea of who is out there is doing exactly what you're doing and how you can do it better. So when we look at NAICS code, if you're not familiar with that, it's the North American Industry Classification Code. So it begins with three numbers, and that's going to be your sector. So when you look at 31, 32, and 33, those are going to be your sectors for manufacturing. So then you would add, when you look this up on the census.gov, it would go down a little bit further to a 6-digit number that's more specified for what you're doing. So now on the SAM website, again, RCAC offers a webinar called Navigating SAM, and we go through all of this in more depth. There's just different things. If you're confused on something, their knowledge base is great. They have questions and answers, short videos, and things like that that can help you navigate that system a little bit better. This is an example of the DIBS system. So the DLA, or the utilizes DIBS, which is the Defense Internet Bid Board System. So this is where the DLA will post all of their open solicitations for specific things. So you can view RFQs, RFPs, invitation to bids, and awards. You can also utilize this by looking up specific, NSNs. So they're national stock numbers. You'll be able to search. They host millions of those. So there are 3 main supply centers for the Defense Logistics Agency. So the first one is in Columbus, and they focus on military. So when you look at tanks and weapons and things like that. There's also the Richmond Center, which is avionic parts, anything for an aircraft or weapon system for an aircraft. And you also have DSC in Philadelphia. And that's where they would procure things like light hardware, medical, and uniforms. So it's a very wide range of things on here. So with DIBS, it is, I would say it's a little bit more of a complex system. So if you are looking to do business with the DLA, I would definitely recommend that you utilize this training service. It's called Training Knowledge and Opportunity, or the TKO seminar. So they hold that next month, and I believe they do it quarterly. And it teaches you all about doing business with the DLA, how to find solicitations, how to submit your quote, and all the aspects of the DIBS system. So this is a great training. Their website also, you can find many different training videos, worksheets, and this pocket guide, and you can print those or watch those. But that will definitely provide you with a lot more information on if you're looking to do business with the DLA. So that's just a little bit about us. And I wanted to tell you guys, last year we had 302 clients in our database, and these are all small businesses throughout the state of West Virginia. Our contractors, when we did our end of year, which was July 31st, was our end of year, our clients had received, as a total, received $296 million in federal contracts and $2.6 million in subcontracts, with the bulk of these contracts coming in Wyoming County, Monongalia, Marion, and Jefferson. So those are where those clients are located. That doesn't mean that that's where the work was performed, but that's where those clients are. So we really hope to get the word out about our services and make more people and small businesses aware of what we do and how we can help them to enter or to navigate this government marketplace.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Mary. I heard you mention that you guys do a monthly webinar. Is there an easy way for folks to find how to sign up for that?
Yes, and we just changed it for the new year. We're actually doing 2 a month. So we're starting the series, and they can find that information on our website at rcacwv.com. And also we have a Facebook page. And I believe that Kenzie promotes those there as well.
Okay.
And that can be anyone. You don't have to be in the state of West Virginia to do our webinars. Anyone's welcome.
Great. And yeah, and Victoria was asking if we can put the training in the chat. We'll make sure that all of that gets included in the follow-up email so that people will know how to find this stuff. But yeah, great stuff. And I can speak from experience that it is a very intimidating looking system, but you guys are very approachable. I know the webinars are certainly helpful, but it's not a problem at all to just schedule an appointment with any of you folks, right?
Yes, anytime. And if you're in a specific, we usually go by our area. So I typically do Southern West Virginia, but I also have clients that I help in Clarksburg. So, and we'll get you to the right person. You can message me and I'll help you out as much as I can.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks so much. And like I said, we got a lot of really great folks that we want to talk to today. So I'm going to kind of keep things moving pretty fast here. So next we've got Tom Reed and Matt Henderson, who are with Catalyst Connection, which Catalyst is the MEP Manufacturing Extension Partnership for the Pittsburgh area, just like the WVU Industrial Extension is the MEP for all of West Virginia. So they're going to talk to us about some opportunities in the energy sector mostly.
Good. Well, thank you, Jamie, and glad to be here today. And my name is Matt Henderson. I'm one of the project consultants for the Clean Energy Manufacturing Project. Our website here is on the screen. Jamie will share that for more information about this project. But this project, the goal was to help connect manufacturers to the energy supply chain. And I got to say, from right now, from a perspective of being in West Virginia, I mean, it's definitely a great time in terms of energy projects. Next slide there, Tom, if you would. I just threw a couple of these on here, but there is a lot going on in West Virginia, in the tri-state area. We know a lot about the funding mechanisms out there through a couple bills. But you can just see some of these projects, and this is just a handful of these projects in West Virginia. So as I mentioned, so our project is to help in all of the above energy supply chain. We worked a lot in the shale supply chain. Now as we're starting to see companies transition to either looking at hydrogen or looking at some of these these other projects, battery storage. We see on here, we see the hydrogen hub I'm going to talk about in a minute. Like I said, I've been doing business development about 20 years and energy about 17. And I have to say it's a very exciting time to be in this sector. General Hoyer talked about bringing the supply chain back to the U.S. And in my opinion, I think energy is a key component. We've built energy security. We're an LNG leader worldwide, and that's only going to continue to grow. So that helps build our economic and our national security here. Locally and domestically. Where we sit in the heart of Appalachia, we have 35% of our natural gas supply. So that's why everybody looks here in West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania for this development, for energy development. And Tom, if you can go to the next slide. I think what's extremely exciting is, we have the ARCH2, there's the energy hubs, the hydrogen hubs, the applications are in. This fall, next few months, we're going to hear who the winners are. My opinion, I do believe Arch 2 in West Virginia is a tri-state initiative focused in West Virginia is going to be one of the awardees. Now you see all these companies on here, and the exciting thing is, and I think it's not known a lot of times around hydrogen, is these projects that are being announced are commercially viable today. So these are not, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. These are viable projects today, opportunities today. A lot of these companies on here, we're working through our project. We'll have some webinars in the future. And then through our project, we have an upcoming event I just wanted to share. We, part of our project, we do tours. And we have a tour it's in Morgantown, Northeast Natural Energy. And this is a traditional oil and gas company, but like a lot of the energy companies, they're diversifying. They've drilled the first geothermal well, partnership with West Virginia University and DOE. So this is an exciting opportunity where we're taking manufacturers, partners can go visit the company. We're going to talk about their supply chain needs for geothermal, talk about their needs for shale development, and we're going to get an opportunity to go out and visit a drilling rig. I'd tell you, if you've never been on one, you haven't gone out, it's well worth the trip as a company, as partners, providers, because you can help identify where these opportunities are for your companies or your specific company out there. So the information, we'll share the link for registration. There's no charge. It's an all-day event. You can meet in Morgantown, and we'll bus out, provide lunch, PPE and everything's required. But we will share this information via the email. So it's time. I'm going to turn over to Tom here in a minute. When we talk about clean energy and the supply chain, like I mentioned, it's all the above. And the next slide here shows these are the segments that we're looking at. We're focusing on some of the products, from chemicals, plastics, helping companies become more energy efficient, and then also looking at from a power management and generation standpoint, solar, wind, and then the key component for some of these renewables is how can we store this for, at night or when the wind's not blowing, the sun's not shining out there. So again, lots of opportunities. We'd be glad to talk more about it. Tom's going to talk about some of the projects or some of the, opportunities we have through this project for financial assistance and technical research. And I guess with that, we'll take more questions later, but Tom, I'll turn it over to you if you want to talk a little bit about some of those specifics.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so the Clean Energy Manufacturing Program, as Matt mentioned, is a tri-state opportunity. And we did receive some funding from the Appalachian Regional Commission, and basically under their Power Grant program, is to help coal-impacted communities who are finding maybe a decline in the coal opportunities. And so that's why we're kind of saying clean energy is kind of all of the other aspects of energy that you can work in. So whether if you are currently working in one of these clean energy supply chains, meaning you're making any product that has any connection into the entire length of the supply chain, whether you're a first, second, third tier, or even further down supplier, or if you're interested in learning more about that, this program's for you. So that's just to kind of start you out there. So how to get started? Like I said, our website is wemakeithere.org/clean energy, and I think a great place for people to get started. If you go to the website, there's a place to click on there. There's a self-assessment. It's just 20 quick questions that you either answer anything from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Once you get to the end of those 20 questions, you'll get an instant report back to you that will kind of help guide you. Some people know this themselves, and sometimes it helps that kind of get a reflection back to say, these are the areas that look like the strongest opportunity, or these are the areas that maybe you should pursue first in your efforts. So it's a quick, easy, free way to look at this. And then, of course, we have a staff of folks like the West Virginia's group there, Calais Connection, and we have some folks in Ohio as well who can walk you through and help you to the next piece. So one of the key areas and ways that we can help is with technical assistance. So we do have staff, and there are third parties that we work with who can help you in different areas. So essentially, once you look at your needs and where you are in your desire to be a part of a clean energy supply chain, then it's time to reflect back and say, what could I do to strengthen my position to either sell more in these energy supply chains or to enter into the supply chain? Once you kind of have that identified, really, these are just some of the projects that could be eligible where we could get some funding to help you. So it might be helping you get an ISO certification, quality, maybe helping you to update your website to put more information about how you could work in these energy supply chains, maybe putting some keywords in, helping you to develop your current staff talent, helping you to find new people that match your needs, ERP selection, facility layout. So you can imagine when you're looking at ways to be more competitive, it pretty much encompasses just about anything. Now, a couple of the things that we can't pay for with this mini grant, you see down at the bottom, it says $10,000. So it's a reimbursement grant up to half of the cost of a project, or $10,000. It can't exceed $10,000 in grant funding, but it really can be broad. Now, let's say there's another avenue that you can pursue. Maybe you're not currently interested in or don't have a goal to get into the energy supply chain, but you do know of some ways that you could reduce your energy consumption, that you could build out some efficiencies with your current systems, maybe your HVAC system, maybe some other areas along that lines. We work with WVU's Industrial Assessment Center that can come in and look at do kind of a one-day on-site assessment and really give you some good suggestions. And if you do have a project where you want to make some of those adjustments, again, up to $10,000 could be allocated to help you with that. So my recommendation is, if this interests you, or the tour that I mentioned, that I would just reach out to Jamie or David or anybody that you're interacting with currently at WVU, and they can help walk you through these opportunities. But yeah, this is a real good way to get some funding and really help you learn more about the program. So here's just, again, a little bit more about the eligibility. You have to have less than 500 employees at the location that you're applying for. So you may have multiple locations for your business, as long as the one that you're applying from, like if you're looking at getting a new ERP system, as long as that location has 500 employees or less, it's eligible. As was referenced earlier with the NAICS codes, you have to have a manufacturing NAICS codes beginning with 31, 32, or 33. You have to be located in one of the 47 counties, and this map gives you a viewpoint. If you happen to be in one of the West Virginia counties that's not lit up blue, we are actually applying for another grant that's going to extend to, I believe, all of the West Virginia counties. So I wouldn't be discouraged if you don't see your county here, but we may kind of put you on hold for a month or two until we get some of these new opportunities for grant funding. But we certainly can help you in any other way if you're outside of one of the blue counties, but we just might not be able to give you grant funding under this current grant. Like I said, 50% towards it, and we can't use it for equipment. So you might need a new HVAC system. There might be ways that we can help you with some of your other preparation that needs to be done, but we can't actually use this funding to pay for a big piece of equipment, because then the government wants to keep track of the assets and those kind of things. So, our project is about a year in, and it goes through July 31st of 2025, but now is a great time to apply so you can make sure you get your project done as it goes. So that's our program. So like I said, definitely reach out to anybody at WVU. Go to the wemakeithere.org/clean energy site, and we'll be glad to help you.
Thanks, Tom and Matt. That was great. And again, we'll have maybe we'll have a little bit of time for questions at the end. But thank you guys for coming and working with us. It's always a pleasure. And we'll just keep on going. I know we've got Diego Gadesco. I hope I didn't massacre your name there, Diego. And he's the director of the Wheeling, West Virginia office for the U.S. Commercial Service, and he is also the Trade America team leader. And Diego, I see several other folks here in the Wheeling area, and I understand you guys have some nasty weather rolling through. So hopefully everything holds tight for us.
Jimmy, yes, it's we have very loud noise just like a few minutes ago. I thought everything's gonna go out, but well, thank you for having. Have you seen my screen?
Yes, it's great.
So thank you for having us. I'm part of the U.S. Commercial Service, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce, the International Trade Administration. I was going to show you here a slide to see kind of where we fall in the maze of the U.S. government. But our agency actually is really, really small compared with others. But we are under the International Trade Administration, part of the U.S. Department of Commerce, and we have three tiny agencies that form in ITA. The enforcement and compliance. Basically, we have a team there that kind of helps help companies to have a level playing field when they're competing overseas. If you have an issue with maybe the local government is favoring a local industry and making like a competition for the tender or bid not good in the sense, we can help you intervene there and help make sure that you can compete with any prospect overseas. The industry analysis, we have a group there, a team that helps to keep up with data to make sure you analyze obviously the data overseas as well, and make sure you keep up with the information that you need to know when you're doing business overseas. And then the U.S. Commerce Service, which I belong to, and basically we advocate for your business overseas. We help you to identify markets and enter markets and solve issues you might have as you're doing that process. Here are some of the things. We have offices across the country, about 109 offices. We have 2 in West Virginia. We're lucky, small state with 2 offices, but we have an office in Charleston. Leslie Drake, the director, and runs the whole state. She managed the office in Charleston, and then we have the office in Wheeling, where I'm located at. So we try to cover. I tried to cover the 2nd district, and she tried to cover the 1st district. So I'll go all the way to Martinsburg and Newell on top. So it's large territory for both of us. We do work with the state very close. The state has an international office, and we have Caitlin. I'm sure you know Caitlin and Anive. We work and Steve Spence. We work very close with them, so we do a lot of things in conjunction. We have about 128 offices overseas, belong to the Department of Commerce. We do have other offices with the State Department, like we call them partner posts. For example, in Bolivia and Paraguay, we do not have a commercial section, but office, but we do have the State Department partnership that help us to be in the market as well. So basically, we promote exports of products and services from the U.S. We represent your business interests internationally. And we help you to identify potential distributors, agents, partners, or anything that you might be looking or might fit for you in a specific market. How we do it, we do have trade counseling in any part of the exporting process, and like from are you ready to export to export financing, export compliance, export controls, that kind of thing. So anything in between, we can help you. Market intelligence, sending you some information about specific markets you're looking at. Business matchmaking is the one that kind of we work most with. Basically, we help you to, let's say I'm looking for a distributor in Chile, for example. So the embassy or team there will help you to identify a potential partner there. And basically, that's the services that basically you tell us who you are, what you do, and what your objectives are in the market. And the embassy or colleagues there at the embassy will look into the market and identify potential partners. They'll give you a list. You can tell them, yes, you're on the ball. Let's meet with these companies, and you will travel to Chile, meet face to face with these companies, and sign an agreement with the one that you think make most sense for your business. So that takes a lot of time for your company, especially if you're small, to identify a potential partner in any country. So you just take us as someone that you can trust in country to help you develop the market. Advocacy, let's say you're looking to a for a bid or a tender overseas that you want to apply, or you're working with another partner and you know that you're doing a specific contract, a specific project that you want to work on overseas. They're building a bridge, or they're doing a hospital, anything that is happening overseas and you want to get involved. Let us know, because we can advocate for your business. So if you might not be the only one competing, might be in other countries like Spain, China, any other country that is competing for that project, we can help you to advocate for your business in the country. And then trade promotion programs, there are a lot of events that we do to help you to learn more about the process and perspectives. And we all do all these to help you grow. As if you get involved in the exporting, you're going to see that your demand of your products and services are going to grow. You're going to need more people, you're going to hire more people, and your business is going to grow. So that means that everybody benefits from you getting involved in the exporting process. Very quickly, I'm not sure if we have those numbers before, but last year, West Virginia exported $7.8 billion worth of products. That was our third consecutive growth year. We increased more than 20% from last year, which is great. And we have been outpacing the growth on exporting to the country. So main partners, Canada, Netherlands, India, Brazil, China. And then obviously our main product that we export is coal. We do have chemicals, transportation equipment, machinery. We do export a lot of things, to be honest. Here at the bottom, you say there's about a little bit more than 1,000 companies in West Virginia that export. That's a very, very low number. There's so many other companies there that could be exporting and have a product that could be exporting. So we're trying to encourage companies to look into the exporting process and all the resources that are out there to help them. One thing that we have done, the state actually have done a couple of years ago, the Secretary of State added 2 questions to the questionnaire that every single company in West Virginia receives on July. Now they're asking you if you're exporting and what are your markets, the top markets, and if you're not, if you would like to receive assistance. That information goes to the state, and then we work together to help those companies that have an interest to kind of navigate the process and help them to get into it, which is great. Here are some of the companies that we work with. I know that Steve Roberts might be on here today, and he worked for Eagle before, and he helped a lot of that company to grow internationally and did a lot of things with us in the past. You will see also some universities here. We do help with universities as well, because we consider an international student coming into the state, we can consider that as an export, because they're bringing their dollars, their money, and bring it to our economy, help our economy as well. The students not only pay for tuition, but also they buy a car, they go eating, they buy clothes, they buy things, so they help the economy where they are. So it's very important for us to kind of increase the number of international students coming into the state. Very quickly, some events that you can might be looking into it coming up very soon. Next month in September, we have the opportunity, as Jamie mentioned, I'm the team leader for the Trade Americas team. We do help with export promotion in the Americas, basically from Canada to Argentina. We organize events, conferences, webinars, anything that to help companies to learn more about opportunities in those markets. This was a great opportunity because we are bringing every single office, commerce, and state from the region, from Canada to Argentina to Reston, Virginia, near DC, 5 miles from the Dallas airport, and near, obviously, us in West Virginia. And there's an opportunity, a 3-day conference where you have the opportunity to meet with all these countries in one place and learn more about the opportunities. You can go out of there saying, okay, I need to focus in Argentina or in the Dominican Republic. I need to go there first, and we'll help you to get there. So it kind of narrow down where you want to look into it. And at the same time, you will learn a lot about the region and the resources that are out there for you to work with. The other events I want to mention is actually the one here in Charleston, West Virginia. It's going to be September 28th. This one me focus not on the Americas, but in Europe and Eurasia. It's going to be, we have some colleagues coming from these countries, from Turkey, Germany, Belgium, Bulgaria. They're going to be available to work with you. We're doing this event in conjunction with the 2023 Governors Export Award. So we're going to have a lot of companies that are ready, but it's a great opportunity to learn more about these markets and learn more about Trade Winds 2024. That's one of our flag events that we do. And it's going to be in Turkey next year in 2024 in May. We're going to learn more about that, but it's a great opportunity to learn more about Europe and resources again. for you to get involved in the process. I just want to mention that if anybody has any questions, we do have a lot of resources from market research to the state has a grant. We're talking about grant recently. They have a grant that if you're looking to travel, let's say to Chile to identify a partner, the grant can pay you back up to 75% of your cost, hotel cost, traveling cost. So there's a lot of things that the state's doing to help. Beyond the STEP grant, the state also is helping with some funding. For example, if you go to these events, they cover fees, part of the fees of getting involved in that event as well. So just let us know if you're interested. If you're exporting already and you're have a lot of expertise, but let us know, because sometimes we can open doors that you might not be able to do by yourself overseas. Calling a country, a company overseas directly, it could be useful, but sometimes having the embassy making that call, the door might open faster for you. So I just want to give you an idea what we do. Here's our information. Happy to answer any question, and I stay here for a while. So happy to help. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you, Diego. And yeah, we'll be seeing you at that Discovering Global Markets Conference, September 28th. Looking forward to that in Charleston. And just want to emphasize something else that you said. You mentioned so many times, Steve Spence and Caitlin, the state. So if anybody's sitting there thinking about, well, do I call the U.S. Commercial Service or do I call the state? The answer is yes, right? I mean, you call
either way, we all gonna know about it. So yes. For any situation, if you're interested, just give us a call. We'll work together very well, which is actually really good. Not every state has these. Some states don't work together very well, and here we have very good teamwork.
Yeah. That's why we invite folks like you to be on our call, because you're cool and we can interact just fine. So no,
right. I appreciate it.
And Dave Satterfield's cool too, I guess. They're glad to have you with us, Dave. You know that. Dave Satterfield's the Director of Resource Asset Development at WVU, and he's going to be discussing a really important group. It's the West Virginia NDIA chapter. So Dave, if you can fill us in on that, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Jamie, David, Tracy, thanks for having us today. And I think it's an important gathering. I will tell you, I'm more encouraged and excited by manufacturing in West Virginia and the opportunities for manufacturing in West Virginia than I've ever been. I think our legislature and Governor Justice have refocused their ideas and refocused their energies to try and make sure that West Virginia is a manufacturing leader. Mike Graney, Mitch Carmichael, the whole team down there is really doing a good job. And it's starting to show. In manufacturing, it's being a great day, and we're going to see even greater ones in the future. Today, I want to talk about our defense industry in West Virginia, and particularly the National Defense Industrial Association chapter.
Dave, I hate to interrupt you, but it's a little tough to hear you. Could you possibly get closer to the mic?
I can't. Okay. Is that better?
That's a little better. Thank you.
Okay, I can speak up too. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Back in 2016, the Office of Economic Adjustment with the Department of Defense wanted to map every supply chain. And they were doing this because we were seeing that as the Gulf War was winding down, that our defense systems, particularly manufacturers who were participating in vehicle systems and weapon systems, we were seeing that we were losing market share and that we might not have the resiliency we needed. What we ended up doing was mapping the supply chain in the state. We saw that we had about a $1.7 billion effort. Well, what happened with that? Our lead partner, Tech Connect and WVU did that. And we were able to say, this is what it looks like. The problem was, it wasn't about how do we grow it, how do we connect it, how do we do networking, how do we see we have in common, what are our common challenges, and that sort of thing. So we looked for what we were going to do to organize around it. And it was our friend and our presenter today, General Hoyer, said, you need to start a chapter of the National Defense Industrial Association. And we did that. So in June 15th of 2020, Mark Hubris is on the call today, he's one of our founding board members. We started that chapter, and it exists to try and help the defense industry, particularly in the manufacturing sector. So the NDIA nationally is an association that has about 1,800 corporate members and about 66,000 individual members. Nonpartisan, nonprofit. It's an educational association that is not a lobby firm, but it's an education firm. And what I mean by that, it champions the issues that contribute to the strength, the resiliency, and the capacity of the defense industry. They make sure that we have the weapons and the armament and the tools that the warfighters need. We make sure that we are going to continue to have the supremacy in the defense sector that America always has. They provide briefings for Congress. They provide briefings for the academic and the technology communities, and they do everything they can to be a fit advocate to make sure the defense industry is going to be better prepared tomorrow than it was today. The West Virginia chapter of that is following right in its footsteps. We just came back from Northrop Grumman Rocket Center yesterday, which is a jewel and a treasure of West Virginia. It's part of the national fabric of the defense industry. And you see there, it is one of the places that we're doing such good things. One of the things that we're working specifically with, and the MEP chapter is, and General Hoyer is leading this effort, is that the Northrop Grumman facility wants to have more West Virginia supply. We've done this with AIM Consortium and our friends Tom and Tetra and that sort of thing, but we continue to try and build that supply chain locally. We want them to be resilient. We want the small and medium manufacturers to really be the beneficiaries. So what we have done is we have about 309 members in our chapter, and we're starting, now that the pandemic's completely over, we're starting to meet more, talk more, and try and do more things in the chapter. As I said yesterday, we had a meeting yesterday. We will be in Charleston the day before your expo, the Government Exports Award, over at the Yeager Airport, that we will be doing a tour of the Air Wing and the Air Guard with General Crane, and Mike Graney will be there. And what we're going to do is a new member recruitment event. What we want to do is, if you have an interest in the national defense sector of this country, if you think you can compete, or you want to compete, or you see it's an opportunity you can learn more about, contact any of us, contact David Carrick and the MEP folks, and we'll get you to the right place that we can do that. In closing, again, let me say I am more encouraged about manufacturing in general, and particularly the defense sector in our diversification I've ever been. So I think it's a great time to be in West Virginia, and I appreciate everybody being on the call today. Thank you. Jamie?
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Yeah, good stuff. I want to echo something that you said early on, that we want to thank the folks that put this together: Tracy Straub, Dave Carrick, Stacy Miller on our team, and all of the great speakers that came out to share some of their time and knowledge with us. We have a few minutes left. If anybody wants to put a question in the chat, we'll be happy to field that. Or if you want to head off to an early dinner, we can do that too. But again, thank you so much, all of our speakers, for coming out today. That was, again, good stuff. And we currently don't have anything scheduled on our website, but we have some great stuff in the works. We've got some open enrollment classes we hope to start with real soon. So be looking for those on the website and in our newsletter. Want to stress again that if you ever have any questions, happy to be the point person to direct you to any of the folks who spoke today, or anything like that. So don't hesitate to reach out to me as well. But not seeing any questions in the chat. So we'll go ahead and call it quits. But thank you again, everybody, for joining us. And you can expect an email with a link to the recording and the information that was mentioned in the presentations. So thanks, everyone.